Hey, Cowboys Nation, let's get into all the latest developments around the team because the injury situation is starting to feel like a real headache for America's team as we head into Week 5. Starting up front, the offensive line is looking shakier by the day. Tyler Booker, as expected, is not going to play with that ankle injury, and it doesn't look like he'll be back for this week's matchup. The Cowboys haven't put him on injured reserve yet, so there's still a window for a return in the near future. Maybe not next week, but shortly after that. Assuming everything heals as expected, Booker has been a crucial part of the offensive line, and his absence alone creates a ripple effect that changes the entire dynamic up front. Then you've got Tyler Gayton, who is currently navigating concussion protocol. That's always tricky because you never really know how a concussion will progress. Some days the player feels okay, and other days the medical team is taking every precaution to make sure he's fully cleared. With Gayton, there's a chance he could be ready at the last minute. But right now, practice time is being missed. And that's a real issue because timing and cohesion are everything on the offensive line. The Cowboys even shuffled Nathan Thomas in a left tackle in case Gatone cannot go. It's not ideal, but they have to prepare for every possibility. Offensive line chemistry is so delicate that even one or two changes can throw off protection schemes and run blocking assignments. So, this uncertainty is something that fans need to keep a close eye on. Now, Tyler Smith had an MRI on his knee, and the team is waiting on further details. His status is currently unknown, and that's a big deal because Smith has been a leader up front. He's the guy who anchors the offensive line, and losing him would leave the Cowboys relying on depth players who may not have seen meaningful snaps this season. Already, the team is down Cooper, BB, on the line, and Robert Jones has been out for the year, which means every additional absence adds pressure. If Smith cannot go, we could be looking at a scenario where the Cowboys have just one fully healthy starting lineman available, which is a situation that could impact both the passing game and the run game significantly. In that case, backups like Trevor Keegan or Hockey Denin could be forced into action at guard, and practice squad players like Goran Christian might get called up to provide emergency depth. It's a lot to manage in a short time, and the coaching staff will need to get creative to maintain some semblance of consistency. Moving to the skilled positions, CeeDee Lamb is still out with his ankle injury. That was expected, and while he's trending in the right direction, he won't make it back for the game against the Jets. KaVontae Turpin is another player who might miss this week, also with a foot injury similar to what Don Bland suffered, which kept him sidelined for 2 games. Turpin had been the slot receiver and an important piece in motion plays, so his absence will force other players to step up and fill that role. Right now, the Cowboys have George Pickens, Jalen Tolbert, and Ryan Finley as the healthy receivers. Jonathan Mingo is getting closer to returning from injured reserve, so there could be a boost in depth there. But the team will likely need to call someone up from the practice squad to cover game day needs, especially in the slot. Jalen Crair, who has experience in special teams and can also line up at receiver, might see his first significant NFL action this week as a result of these absences. The running back room is also going to look different. Miles Sanders is dealing with an ankle and knee issue which could limit his availability. He's been solid but hasn't had explosive production consistently. So, the Cowboys might lean more on Jaden Blue, Javonte Williams, and Hunter Lipke this week. Blue has the speed and playmaking ability to handle kick returns, which is an added factor to consider with Sanders' uncertain status. The injuries to Sanders and Turpin open up opportunities for these younger or less experienced players to contribute in meaningful ways, which could be a blessing in disguise if they step up. Jaden Blue in particular seems poised for a breakout week, taking advantage of the gaps left by injured starters and providing the Cowboys with the kind of spark that can change field position and momentum. The safety position is seeing its share of changes as well. Malik Hooker will miss several weeks with a toe injury, and there's a chance he could be placed on injured reserve to free up a roster spot. This opens up opportunities for backups and practice squad call-ups to step in and get some reps. Players like Juan Thomas could see expanded roles, which not only helped cover the injury gaps, but also gives the team flexibility in case other players need rest or have minor issues during the week. Bridges has experience at safety from his college days, so he could also be used in emergency situations, which gives the coaching staff some options while navigating this injury-heavy stretch. Jonathan Mingo and Kalen Carson, both recently activated from injured reserve, are expected to ramp up and be ready to contribute soon, which will help alleviate some of the pressure on the roster. Mingo's timeline aligns perfectly with the Cowboys' current needs at wide receiver, and his return could provide an immediate boost in production and depth. All of these injuries from the offensive line to skill positions and safety mean that the Cowboys are entering Week 5 with a lot of questions and unknowns. The team will need to manage practice reps carefully, ensure players are prepared without overexerting themselves, and adjust their game plan depending on who is actually available come Sunday. The uncertainty extends to special teams too. With Turpin out and Sanders' status in question, the team has to decide who will handle kick and punt returns. Options like Jaden Blue or Jalen Crayer could be utilized, but decisions will have to balance keeping players healthy and maximizing their effectiveness. Every snap counts, and the coaching staff will need to make calculated decisions to ensure the team can perform under these challenging circumstances. Even beyond the starting positions, depth is going to play a critical role. Injuries to key players like Tyler Booker, Tyler Smith, CeeDee Lamb, KaVontae Turpin, and Miles Sanders put pressure on the coaching staff to have game-ready backups who can contribute immediately. Young players and practice squad call-ups will have to step into roles they may not have been fully prepared for, and that could make the difference between winning and losing. The Cowboys have been dealing with injuries all season, but this week feels especially significant because of the number of high-impact starters potentially sidelined. Fans should be ready for lineup adjustments, some unconventional player rotations, and perhaps even some surprise contributors stepping up to fill gaps in the offense and special teams. The challenge for Dallas is not just filling spots on the depth chart, but maintaining the rhythm and chemistry that the offensive line and skill positions rely on. Timing, coordination, and communication are critical, and missing key players disrupts that flow. The team will need to emphasize fundamentals, ensure players understand their assignments, and trust in the backups to execute in high-pressure situations. For fans watching at home, it's a chance to see how resilient this roster can be, how well the coaching staff can adapt, and which young or lesser-known players can rise to the occasion. With all these moving parts, it's fair to say that the Cowboys are facing a pivotal week. The decisions made in practice and leading up to game day will determine whether the team can maintain momentum or struggle under the weight of injuries. Fans should pay attention to lineup announcements, injury updates, and special teams assignments because even minor adjustments could have a major impact on the outcome. Week 5 is shaping up to be a real test of depth, preparation, and adaptability for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, moving deeper into the wide receiver room, the situation is still very much in flux. With CeeDee Lamb sidelined, the spotlight naturally shifts to George Pickens, Jalen Tolbert, and Ryan Finley, who will need to carry the load in the passing game. These guys are going to see more targets than usual, which means defenses will key on them heavily. That could create opportunities elsewhere, but it also places a premium on execution and route discipline. The Cowboys are going to have to be creative with formations in motion, using the personnel they have available to keep the Jets' defense off balance. Jonathan Mingo's imminent return is a key piece here as he's been developing rapidly and adds a dynamic presence downfield. His ability to stretch the field and draw coverage could relieve some pressure from Pickens and Tolbert, giving the quarterback more options and helping the offense sustain drives. Jalen Crayer, who has experience both in special teams and as a slot receiver, could be a hidden weapon this week. His versatility allows the team to rotate personnel without sacrificing coverage or effectiveness, and he might get his first meaningful snaps in a regular season game, which is always exciting for fans watching the development of younger players. The running back situation is equally intriguing. Miles Sanders' ankle and knee injuries leave room for Jaden Blue, Javonte Williams, and Hunter Lipke to take on larger roles. Blue in particular seems ready to step up as both a runner and a kick returner. His speed and agility make him an ideal candidate to exploit openings created by defensive overcommitments, and he has the potential to flip field position with a single explosive play. Williams, meanwhile, is a reliable back who can grind out tough yardage between the tackles, which is critical when facing a front that may have strength up the middle. Lipke adds a third option, giving the Cowboys flexibility and depth at the position, ensuring that they won't be overly reliant on a single player. The rotation of running backs will be crucial, not only to preserve health, but also to maintain energy and effectiveness throughout the game. With Sanders' production uncertain, the team will need to manage carries carefully, balancing the need to push the tempo with the necessity of avoiding further injury. Defensively, the Cowboys are also navigating a series of challenges. Malik Hooker's absence with a toe injury is significant as he has been an important presence in the secondary. His potential placement on injured reserve would free up a roster spot, but also requires the coaching staff to adjust coverage schemes and rotations. Juan Thomas, Bridges, and Elijah Clark from the practice squad could see expanded roles, and their ability to adapt quickly will be tested. Safety rotations are going to be especially critical as the secondary needs to cover for weakened pass rush or potential mismatches against slot receivers. The linebacking core with Kenneth Murray limited early in the week also needs to stay sharp. Even a limited practice can affect timing and communication, which is vital when defending against versatile offenses that mix power runs with spread concepts. Trayvon Diggs and Don Bland, who are expected to return, add experience and stability, but the defense as a whole will need to stay disciplined and communicate effectively to compensate for any gaps created by injuries. Special teams decisions are another layer of complexity this week, with KaVontae Turpin out and Miles Sanders' availability uncertain. The Cowboys must decide who will handle kick and punt returns. Jaden Blue looks like a prime candidate given his explosiveness and familiarity with the role, but Jalen Crayer could also be utilized in certain situations. The coaching staff will need to weigh risk and reward carefully, ensuring that their return man can handle the pressure of live kicks without compromising the health of other key players. Every special teams play matters, especially in a game where roster limitations could shift momentum quickly. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL, whispers around the league are growing louder. Devin Smith, the electrifying wide receiver who has been a cornerstone for the Philadelphia Eagles, may be heading to the Dallas Cowboys. The rumor first surfaced in hushed tones in locker rooms and social media circles, but sources suggest there could be more than just idle chatter behind the speculation. Smith, known for his sharp route running, incredible hands, and game-changing speed, has long been a fan favorite in Philadelphia, making the idea of him switching to the Cowboys a tantalizing and controversial prospect. While nothing has been officially confirmed, insiders hint that Smith's time in Philadelphia has been a mix of highs and frustrations. Despite his undeniable talent, there have been moments when chemistry with the Eagles' offense seemed strained, fueling speculation that a fresh start could be on the horizon. Dallas, always eager to bolster its receiving core, could be the perfect landing spot. The Cowboys have made no secret of their ambitions to dominate the NFC East, and adding a player of Smith caliber would send a clear message to rivals. Dallas isn't just playing for contention, they're playing to win now. Fans and analysts alike are buzzing over the implications. If the rumor proves true, the Cowboys' offense could see a seismic shift. Pairing Smith with the team's existing weapons might create one of the most dynamic passing attacks in the league. On the other hand, Eagles fans are already mourning the potential loss, imagining a future without one of the most reliable and exciting targets in recent franchise history. Social media has exploded with speculation, memes, and passionate debates, reflecting the mix of disbelief and anticipation that comes with news this juicy. Of course, the NFL is no stranger to last-minute twists, and nothing is ever set in stone until contracts are signed and announcements are made. But the mere possibility of DEVONTA Smith in a Cowboys uniform has ignited a firestorm of conversation from sports bars in Dallas to diehard fan forums in Philadelphia. As the offseason heats up, all eyes will be on Smith, his camp, and the Cowboys front office. If this move happens, it won't just be a trade. It will be a headline-grabbing, rivalry-stoking, league-shaking event that could define the next chapter of the NFC East. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.